Hi everyone, this is John Cottrell of MBODY Yoga. This is Power Hour, or a 60-minute power vinyasa yoga practice. Welcome. So we are going to be moving with breath, and I've called this class Release the Binds. And so we will be getting into a variety of binding postures, and that really involves our shoulders, a little bit of twisting. But I also want us to experience not only being in the binds, but what it feels like to release from the binds and just feel that freedom of the body when you get out of the binds. So that'll be our primary focus. For our props today, we're really not going to be using any specific props, but if you like to use props like blocks, I've got mine here. Go ahead and grab blocks, blankets, straps, anything like that. Go ahead and have those ready nearby, and don't forget maybe some bottled water or a nice beverage for your practice. And we shall begin. So let's go ahead and start in mountain pose. So as you're ready, just come to a standing posture with your feet about hip distance apart, toes pointing forward. Stand nice and tall. Before you just come to complete stillness, take a few moments and just roll your shoulders, big circles here, so you can feel the upward sensation of the shoulders. Pull them back and then down. So go in a backward formation and then forward. You can do one at a time or both at the same time, whatever you'd like there, just to kind of feel some loosening in that area, but just an awareness of your shoulders. And even kind of feel how it's all connected as far as how the shoulders tie into chest and how shoulders tie into your back. And then when you're ready, you can just come to a still standing position. Take a few deep breaths. You might breathe in through your nose. You can exhale through your nose or exhale through your mouth with a nice sigh. Shake out any cobwebs there. And just feel your body settle into the space, finding stillness, sense of calm and ease as we step into our practice together. You're welcome to close your eyes if you'd like, or just take a soft gaze forward or downward if your eyes are still opened. And just breathe in a fashion where you can feel your breath moving through you and even hear the sound of your breath. As you're tuning into your breath, also take note of any sensations in your body, even though you're holding in stillness. Notice if there's any parts that feel a little tight or bound up. And maybe just the movement of breath through your body, in addition to the movement of your body in our practice today, will start to loosen those binds. Very nice. Go ahead and take 3 more slow breaths in and out. Prepare your body to move. When you're ready, inhale and extend your arms overhead. Reach high for that good stretch. Exhale, we'll fold forward, so a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and just make your way down towards your toes. And of course, you don't have to touch your toes, just a nice fold. Inhale, slide your hands up your legs to help extend your spine, so you're only rising up halfway. And exhale, we'll fold again back down towards toes. Let's hold here for a moment so we can feel that stretch and lengthening sensation down through the backs of the legs. And if you'd like, you can hang heavily forward here in this ragdoll fashion. And again, loosening up the shoulders. Even add your head and neck. You might nod yes a few times, shake your head, no, just to loosen up in the neck area. Again, a nice tie into the shoulders, back, and your chest. Go ahead and shift your weight back towards your heels. Bend your knees a bit like you're about to sit down. Look forward. Take your arms out to the side. Then inhale and stand up nice and tall. Reach into the air. Another nice stretch. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Let's just hold that for a moment. A breath or two here. So that's our half salute to the sun. Let's just go through that same sequence once again. Whenever you're ready, an inhale to sweep your arms out and up, reach high. Exhale, fold forward, a good hinge from your hips, bending your knees as much as you need to, perhaps touching your toes. Inhale, sliding your hands up the legs to extend your spine so you're flat like a table.
Exhale back down. Another pause here in our forward fold. Again, shifting your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, look forward, spread your wings again. Inhale, stand up tall, reach up really high, big stretch. Exhale, hands together and back down to your heart. Let's hold here for a moment. Several breaths in and out. And we're ready to continue our sun salutation. Moving at your own pace. Inhale, reach into the air. Reach a little higher if you're able. Exhale, leading with your heart, fold forward with soft knees. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, bend your knees, bring your hands down to the mat, and just step both of your feet back into plank pose, a high push-up position. Hold for a breath in. And exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air. We'll be right in downward facing dog. Adjust your feet, adjust your hands as you need to, just to settle into the pose. We're going to hold here for a little bit. Feel free just to hold in stillness in our inverted posture, or feel free to move the body as you'd like. You might pedal the feet here, stretching your calves and your toes, pressing one heel down as the other heel lifts, and then just alternate. Feel the knees bend. Feel how that connects to your hips. Meanwhile, your hands are pressing firmly into the mat, strong pressure into the ground, energizing your arms. Feel this in your shoulders, your back and chest once again. Breathing deeply in and out. And even in this upside down position, checking in with any parts of the body that feel tight or bound up or a little sore, so we can help release those areas. All right, come back to stillness in down dog. Take a nice full breath in, fill up your lungs. Exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale to extend spine. Exhale, fold. Again, weights in the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive, come up to standing. We're going to keep this moving. So as you exhale, go right away into chair pose. Sitting back and down into your seat. Weights in the heels. Energy of your hips reaching to the back edge of your mat while your hands reach out in front. Let's breathe in. And our exhale, diving out of the chair, down towards toes, forward fold. Inhale, rise up halfway. And exhale, hands to the mat. Walk, step, or hop both feet back into plank pose. We'll breathe in. This exhale, if you'd like, bend your elbows, lower your way down, coming to Chaturanga Dandasana. Find a back bend. You can inhale to upward facing dog or even cobra pose, and exhale, downward facing dog. Arrive in the posture, hold for a moment, and we'll continue with our lunge. When you're ready, inhale, extend right leg up behind you, reach long. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel plants into the floor behind you. Put some good weight and pressure back there so there's less weight in your hands, so you can easily hinge from hips, rising up facing forward. Warrior one. Our exhale, a hinge of the hips to fold, bringing your hands back down to the ground. We'll step back into plank pose. Bend elbows, squeeze them in towards ribs, perhaps as you lower your way down. Inhale to up dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Then inhale, extend left leg up, reaching back. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel turns to the floor behind you. Again, some pressure back there. Lightness in the hands so you can easily rise up. Warrior one, inhale. And your exhale, folding. Hands return to the ground. Stepping back, plank pose. Coming down, finishing your sequence. Up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take a moment in down dog. Pause right there. Let's take a seat. You can just kneel down to take a seat or hop forward, cross your legs and take a seat. We're going to roll down onto our backs, so be sure to sit in the center of your mat and lie down. While you're lying down, you're going to bend your knees with your feet planted into the ground. We'll take several breaths here just to settle for a few breaths. Preparing for our back bend. When you're ready, first take a nice full breath in, fill up your lungs. Exhale, empty your belly, using that engagement to lift your hips into the air. And if you'd like, Getting your shoulders and arms a little bit underneath you. See if you can do this. You might need to rock your upper body left and right several times to get your shoulders underneath you. It almost feels like you're actually resting on the back part of your shoulders in this posture. And then just bend your elbows. We're going to do 2 versions of this. Bend your elbows so your arms are at 90 degrees, pressing the backs of the arms down into the ground so you can feel more stable and even a little bit higher in the posture. And if you're able, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Now that might be a little bit of a challenge just because of this position. But see if you can maintain this good lift in the body. Bring the hands down to the floor, and if you can, interlace your fingers underneath you. And if you can't do that, that's okay. You can just bring the arms down to the floor so they're straight on the ground, or just keep them at that 90-degree angle. Now, if you are able to interlace your fingers underneath, here you might be able to squeeze the shoulder blades together, engaging your upper back to help support the postures. Meanwhile, the backs of your shoulders, even your arms and fists, folded fingers really, are pressing down into the ground. Okay, this is a long time to be in the pose. Go ahead and release the fingers. Reach up into the air, wiggle the toes forward a little bit, making space in your back body so you can roll down to the ground. All right, let's extend the body here. Reach the legs forward so they're straight. Reach your arms behind you, reaching for the wall behind you, and actively stretch. And even just pay attention to that sensation of just lengthening, because this is, a good example of maybe getting out of a binding posture, just that lengthening and stretch quality. Okay, before we rise, we're going to hug right knee into chest, just the right knee. Just bring the knee in, catch the shin with your hands, and just draw it in carefully, straight up towards chest. Now you'll find that it kind of stops. Okay, if you can see me, we really can't see me in this posture, but the knee is just coming straight up towards chest and it kind of locks or just stops, okay? But if we take the knee out a little bit towards the shoulder or out to the side of the body a little bit, you might find that you can take the leg a little further back behind you, if that makes sense, drawing the leg a little closer up towards shoulder. So we'll take those 2 sensations. They're subtle. First, it's just straight up towards the body where it naturally stops, like the hinge in the hips just stop. But if you just kind of take it a turn out to the right side a little bit, you can take it out a little further. And then take happy baby pose, just the one leg. So right foot will go up into the air. Hold on to the bottom of the foot if you can reach it, or hold on to your ankle. And again, pressing down. Now the knee naturally wants to kind of point out towards the side of the room. And if you press down, it feels like the knee is coming down towards the ground. 2 more breaths. Really think of this as an introduction to some hip opening, because some of our postures today will involve a little bit of hip opening too. Okay, let's go ahead and release that leg, extend it out onto the floor. Okay, we're going to hug the left knee in directly in towards chest and just feel that natural stop. Hold that for a moment. And then that slight turn towards the left or out towards the shoulder, or even think of maybe like the back corner of your mat. Your left knee is reaching in that direction. That might be a good direction to be thinking about. And you can go a little deeper in this hip stretch. And we're still just holding on to the shin, guiding the knee in that direction, and noticing the sensation in the inner thighs and hips. Couple more breaths. And then we'll take our half happy baby pose, holding onto the ankle or the bottom of the foot. Gentle press down, deeper stretch, just a different sensation. Meanwhile, of course, that right leg is still just straight out in front of you on the floor. Just working this left leg. Couple more breaths. And go ahead and release. Let's do that same stretch. Release the leg straight out onto the floor. Again, reach both arms behind you. Getting out of the bind, stretching. Then we'll hug both knees to chest. Start that rocking sensation forward and back. And exhale. to rock your way up to seated, and we'll come to boat pose. Just kind of make your way into the posture as you know best. And you might land where your shins are parallel to the floor. That's if your knees are bent here, shins are parallel to the floor. You'll energize your feet. You might flex the feet or point your toes. Of course, you can hold on to your legs. That's a nice way to help extend the spine by lifting yourself up. Let's move here. We're going to breathe in. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front or even to the side to swing the feet back behind you or hop or step back into plank. Hold plank. This is great too to feel that kind of extension through the body. The energy is moving through the crown of your head and through the heels of your feet. Take a shortcut to down dog, bend your knees, lift your hips into the air. Settle in for a moment. Let's continue with the lunge sequence. Let's inhale, extend right leg up behind you, reach back. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel turns to the floor. Find that good balance, lightness in the hands. So you can inhale, rise up, warrior one, and an exhale to warrior two. Reaching out. Arms are parallel to the ground. If this feels fine for your legs as far as your lunge, stay here, but if it feels okay, maybe you're taking your left foot back a little bit, right foot forward just a little bit, and just lunging a tiny bit deeper. Nice and tall in your torso, straight up and down. And then we'll angle the upper half of the body, reaching out over the right leg. Rotate the arm so the right arm comes down to the inner right thigh. Left hand reaching up. Good energy of reaching, extending this left arm up into the air. And also reaching down. It's a nice opening for the whole front of the body. And with this arm, right arm braced against the right leg, give it a little push, a little nudge, because that opens the right inner thigh. We're going to stay here, but bring the left hand down behind you to your low back. And then just roll the left shoulder back, holding it back. This is kind of that sensation we created when we were in bridge pose, getting the shoulder kind of back behind you. In bridge, it was underneath us. And really feel, again, that nice expansiveness in the chest. All right, breathe in and re-extend this left hand up into the air. Exhale, we'll turn to bring the hands back down to the floor. Step back, plank pose, stay in plank. Another shortcut to down dog. Bend your knees, lift your hips into the air. Inhale, extend left leg into the sky. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel turns to the floor, grounding. Inhale, float both arms up, warrior one. And our exhale to warrior two. And just settle into the posture. Check in with the distance between the feet. Stay where they are, or maybe taking left foot forward a tiny bit, right foot back a tiny bit there, lunging a little deeper if that feels okay. Then our side angle pose, we reach out over the left thigh, angling the upper half of the body. Rotate your arms, extending top to bottom. And again, this left arm is braced against the left inner thigh. A little nudge to keep that opening in the left leg. You might even be reaching towards the floor or touching the floor or a stack of blocks. Okay, let's breathe in, reach high with the right hand, and the exhale to bring the right hand down behind you to your low back. Then roll the right shoulder back, opening up through the chest. So if you can, just kind of hold that shoulder back. It is a working in your back muscles to help hold the shoulder back this way. Then breathe in to re-extend, right hand up. Exhale, let's turn, bring hands down to the floor. Step back into plank pose. Finish the flow, bend elbows, come on down. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Nice full breath in. Exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale, extend through your spine. And fold. Weights in the heels, bent knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Let's come back up to standing. Reach into the air. This exhale, just bring your arms down by your side. Good, so your arms can relax. You can roll the shoulders again. Even give your wrists a little shake and circle right there. All right, we're going to move into tree pose. So a balancing posture. Again, we're going to be doing a variation of a balancing pose later, but so we want to start with our tree pose. So we're shifting our weight into the right foot. I'm going to be mirroring you here. Right foot pressing into the floor.
Stand nice and tall with an extended spine and inhale to feel the breath rise to fill up your lungs. Exhale to engage your belly. And then float your left foot up, flexing the foot. Maybe the thigh comes to parallel. We'll swing the knee out to the side right there. And then placing foot on the inside of your standing leg. Nice and tall. Then we'll complete this with an inhale, reaching both arms up into the air. Exhale, draw belly in, holding the posture. Now, it's okay if you wobble a little bit or even lose your balance a little and need to step out of the pose. No worries. All a part of the process. Now we're going to do a second balancing pose. So keep arms extended. We're going to swing the left knee forward, lifting knee with the flexed foot. Bring this left hand down to catch just below the knee. Give a little extra lift just to that natural stopping point. Take it back out to the left side and then right hand reaching to the right side of the room. Hold that. Flex this left foot. That'll keep it active there too. Spin your right palm so it's reaching to the back of the room and you're going to slide it behind you just to your low back, or even all the way around where your fingers might even come towards your left hip. Stand up nice and tall. This right shoulder, see if you can roll it back, squeezing shoulder blades together. It's a long balancing posture. Okay, let's get out of it. Here's getting out of the bind. So the right hand reaching back up into the air. Left knee forward, plant the foot into the ground, both arms up into the air, just like that stretch on the ground we did. Exhale, arms down by your side. Good. Alrighty. So that was some balancing, a little bit of a binding sensation, and then the sensation of kind of moving our way out of that bind. All right, let's do the other side. Whenever you're ready, we're shifting weight into the left foot, nice grounding. Feel tall, lengthen spine, inhale. Exhale, engage belly. Floating right foot up, flexed foot here, maybe thigh parallel to the ground. Swing the knee open, there's our hip opener. Placing foot on the inside of your standing leg. High, you could be up on the inner thigh if you want. I always go to my calf. Then inhale, take your arms up into the air. Reach, extend. Exhale, draw belly in. Hold. As best as you can, even if there's a little bit of a wobble or losing of centering. The centering is a process. Centering is being in the pose, but also stepping out of the pose. So your body kind of learns what needs to engage and release in order to be in balance. Okay, let's keep the arms extended. Swing right knee forward, lifting knee with the flexed foot. We're going to bring right hand down, catch just below the shin or below the knee, lifting to a natural stopping point. Flex the foot. Take the leg back out to the right side as the left arm reaches out to the left side. Okay, part of the bind is actually just holding on to this knee. Here comes the second bind where we spin the left palm to the back of the room and then slide it on behind you like you're putting on a belt. You can just rest at low back or reach all the way around. Maybe you can reach your right hip. Roll that left shoulder back as best as you can. Even squeeze shoulder blades together, lifting up through chest. Lots of things going on here, obviously. One more breath. Let's take off that belt. Reach out and up. Bring the knee forward. Getting out of this bind. Place the foot on the ground. Both arms up into the air. Reach. And arms down by your side. There we go. Shake it all out. All right. Let's do another flow and continue. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the sky. Exhale at swan dive. Inhale, monkey pose. Exhale, hands to the floor, walk, step, or hop both feet back, plank pose, bend elbows, come right down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and an exhale, downward facing dog. Let's inhale, extend right leg up behind you. Right foot to the top of the mat, warrior one. Left heel plants into the floor behind you. We'll float up, inhale, warrior one. And an exhale to warrior two. Same thing, maybe taking the feet a little wider, if you'd like, lunging a little deeper. Let's take our side angle, maybe reach a bit more, rotate arms. Okay, let's go back to that little bind where we bring the left hand down behind you. You can just rest it on low back. Now, if you happen to be low enough meaning
Your elbow, your right elbow is below your thigh. You might be able to bend the elbow and reach behind you and even find your left hand. If you can do that, great. If not, great as well. You don't have to go for the full bind. Wherever you are, see if you can still roll this left shoulder back, opening up chest towards the front of the room. This is a bind, wherever you happen to be. Let's get out of the bind. Let's experience releasing of the fingers, re-extending of arms, reaching top to bottom to reopen. Then we'll turn, hands to the floor. Let's step back, plank pose. Hold, just to get that extension. Feel the release. Chaturanga, come down. Upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Now an inhale to extend left leg up. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat, right heel plants into the floor. Inhale, rise high. Exhale, opening warrior two. Stay just like this or create more distance between the feet as you'd like. Lunging deeper. Take your side angle. Rotate the arms, reach high and low. Bring right hand down behind you. Roll right shoulder back. Now you can stay just like this, or if you happen to be low enough, or go lower, so you can bring left arm underneath and reach, maybe hook a couple of fingers, and there's another type of bind. Wherever you are, remember you want to try to open or roll the right shoulder back. Chest is opening towards the right side of the room. Feel the bind, all the body parts that are connected, and then release the bind. Take your time. Opening the arms, floor to ceiling, reach and expand. Turn, bring hands to the floor. Step the left foot back, hold and plank to get that re-lengthening through the body. Then finish your push-up. Chaturanga, up dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Let's take another seat. Kneel down to take a seat or hop forward, cross legs to take a seat. Here we want to extend the legs out front, flex the feet, strong straight line in the legs. Hands will come down to your hips or down on the floor by your hips. Same thing, we want to push into the floor to feel the rising of the torso. We want to roll the shoulders back. As you can, squeeze shoulder blades together so you feel an engagement in your upper back. That's a nice exhale to squeeze and engage your muscles, but we're also drawing belly in as you exhale. So this is staff pose. A couple more breaths, and we'll add on to this. Okay. Just relax a little bit. Let's go to head to knee pose. So we're going to bend the left knee, bring this left foot to the right inner thigh if it reaches. If you need to resit, what I do is I like to lift and then just sit back down just so my sits bones are plugged into the floor evenly in this seat. Keeping the right foot flexed, we have a hip opener happening on this left side. We're going to take a gentle forward fold. I like to have the hands in front. You can even bring them in behind you to begin. Inhale to help extend through spine. Exhale, hinge forward out over this right leg. And the hands behind you can help with that extended sensation. And then if you happen to go lower, you can bring the hands in front. Okay, we're going to do a couple things with this pose, several things actually. We can consider this part one. So Janu Shirshasana, or head to knee pose, folding in a fashion where the head is coming down towards the shin or knee. 2 more breaths. And again, just noticing the sensations in your body. We're going to rise back up. You can use your hands to help lift yourself back up until you have an extended spine, very tall. We're going to take this into a bit of a twist. Take your left hand over to maybe your right thigh or just the outside of the right leg here. Take the right hand behind you, maybe at where your spine is and maybe slightly away from the body, just as a way to help press into the floor to keep the spinal extension. Inhale to find that growth. Exhale, pull belly in a gentle rotation towards the right. The left hand on the outside of the right leg will help guide us into the position, but mainly to hold us in the position.
We're going gradually here. You don't want to go too far. You don't need to go too far in the rotation. And you certainly don't want to pull or force yourself into it. Just enough where it feels like, okay, I'm obviously twisting a bit to the right side. All right, we're going to inhale, grow tall again. Exhale, unwind, face forward. Let's re-extend this left leg in a way, coming back to a more neutral alignment into the body. And in this case, it's staff pose. Pressing into the floor to lift the torso so it feels like it's lifting out of the pelvis. Shoulders roll back, engage. One breath. Relax. Let's do the same thing other side. Part 1, Janu Shirshasana. Let's bend the right knee, bring the foot to the left inner thigh. If you need to resit, that's fine. Flexing the left foot. A nice strong leg, maybe hands behind you. So you can inhale and really get that nicely extended spine and exhale to hinge forward. Now you don't have to go down far at all to feel this. Even here for me feels fine. I'm going to bring my hands in front. I am going to go a little further, and in this case my back is rounding, and it's okay if the back rounds in this posture. Several breaths, noticing the sensations in the body. This is a hip opener, there's a leg extension, there's a back stretch. So a lot is happening in this simple pose. Okay, use your hands to lift yourself back up until you're tall. Let's get ready for our twist. So right hand to the outside of the left leg. Bring left hand behind you to help prop yourself up. So you're as tall as can be. Inhale. Exhale, just a gradual rotation to this left side. Again, just find those natural stops, meaning you don't have to push yourself beyond a certain point. Just go to the place where, okay, that's where my body stops, and just stay there. Nice deep breaths. In a way, this can be a bind too, because think of what's happening on the inside of the body. We're twisting, and so things are getting a bit of a squeeze, okay? And that can be considered a bind. And so we could also think of that particular type of bind as a way of cleansing or rinsing, healing. All right, breathe in. And we'll exhale to unwind, to face forward. Let's get back to our neutral alignment. Re-extend right leg. Hands on the floor by hips, staff pose. From here, let's move into boat. So you might lean back so you can bend your knees until the feet can float into the air. Couple breaths, nice core engagement. Let's get a good flow going. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back, plank pose. Come on down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's inhale, extend right leg up into the air. Let's add a hip opener by bending the knee. Bring your heel down towards your backside, lifting the knee up towards the ceiling. It opens the hips. As you exhale to unwind the leg and bring right foot to the top of the mat, left heel to the floor behind you. Inhale, float up, warrior 1. Exhale, opening warrior 2. Maybe a little bit more distance between the feet. Lunge deeper, side angle. Here we go. You can go really low if you'd like. Left hand reaching towards the sky. Bring left hand down behind you. Go for that second bind if you'd like. Right hand reaching underneath right leg to find the fingers behind you. Wherever you are, roll shoulders back, opening up through chest. Bind. Inhale to release the bind. Feel this. Pay attention to the re-extension of the arms and opening of chest. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose, come down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're picking up the pace just a little bit. Inhale, extend left leg up. Bend the knee, heel down towards backside, lifting the knee for a hip opener. Unwind it and we'll step through. Left foot to the top of the mat next to hand. Right heel plants into the floor. Float your body up, warrior 1. Exhale, warrior 2. Wider in the feet if you'd like. Side angle, rotate. Left hand down, right hand up.
And then right hand down behind you, or go for that second bind. Hooking the fingers if you can reach them. Right shoulder in this case mostly rolls back, opening up through chest. Feel the sensation of the bind. Inhale to release it. Release the fingers, re-extend the arm, open up through the chest. Turn, hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose, straight line. Then chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Float both feet back up to the top of the mat. You can walk, step, or jump. Inhale, monkey pose. Exhale, fold. Weights in the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Come to standing, reaching into the air. Exhale, arms down by your side. All right, let's go back to some balance and just a little variation of the balance. Okay, let's start by shifting weight into the right foot, pressing down. Feel tall, core engagement. We're floating left foot up. We're just going to catch the knee just at the shin right here, pulling straight up. We're going to take it slightly out like that, and that might allow you to lift higher. We did this lying down on the floor, okay? Go ahead and take right hand up into the air. This is all we're going to do. Reach. Actually, let's bring this right hand down behind you like we did earlier. To low back, even around the body, touching left hip. Roll shoulders back, engage the upper back as you're able. Feel this bind. Out of the bind we go. Re-extend right hand up. Let's bring left knee forward, releasing foot to the ground. Straight line by bringing both arms up into the air and then down by your side. Hold for a moment. You can even shake this out. We're getting some good balance practice here. Let's start shifting weight into left foot. Press into the floor. Get tall. Core engagement when you exhale. That'll help with the balance. As you now float right foot up. Let's catch the shin. Pull straight up. Feel that natural stop. See how it's in alignment with the shoulder here? And then if we take it slightly out and then lift, you can go a little higher. It's just the way the pelvis is shaped. Flexing the foot will keep it energized. We'll take left hand up into the air. Find something to focus on out in front of you. Get a good extension initially, lifting nice and tall, and then we'll bring left hand down behind you, low back or around the body towards the other hip. Couple breaths, roll shoulders back, see if you can squeeze the shoulder blades together. All this engagement, including your core engagement, all part of this binding sensation. Let's release the bind, re-extend the arm up into the air. Let's bring right knee forward, plant foot into the floor, straight line, both arms up into the air, and then arms down by your side. Shake it all out. All right, a few more things to add. Let's continue the flow. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the air. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, hands to the floor. Walk, step, or hop both feet back, plank pose. Come down, chaturanga. Up dog. And downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up into the air. Bend and twist open, hip opener. Unwind it, step through, foot to the top of the mat. Left heel plants. Float your way up. In your warrior two. Wider in the stance if you can, lunging deeply, side angle. Here, ready for your bind, even if you're just bringing the left hand down behind you, or lower for the second bind. Going for the fingers if you can reach. Feel it. All the binding is because you've got the left arm behind you, it's making contact with the body, and the right arm is also making contact. Release, re-extend, feel that, notice this reopening, turn, hands to the floor, step back into down dog with both feet on the floor. So you're in down dog, we just took a quick little shortcut, down dog with both feet on the floor. We're going to take a seat, so kneel down to take a seat or hop forward, cross legs and take a seat. And once we're seated, we're going to keep the left knee bent, extend right leg. Here, so the knee is bent, pointing up rather than down like we did earlier. Now it's pointing up. If you need to reset, if you're able, let's say, I don't know if you can see this, see the angle of my leg here? My heel there's some distance between my hip and my heel. If you can, lift and scoot forward so it's a little closer. Just only go to the place where it feels okay on this knee, okay? Then lean over to your right side, extend left arm way up into the air, fold forward, we're on the inside of this knee, reach forward like you're going to reach for this foot, and then check in with the shoulder and knee alignment here. Maybe they're close to each other. This right hand, spin so the palm is facing outward, and then wrap this arm as you're able around the shin or knee. Stay like this for a little balance, but if you are able, sit up tall so this hand can be free. Right hand, reach it behind you, and if you can, hook fingers. Or you might just be holding on to the shin, maybe something like this, and the right hand behind you and you're sitting up tall. Wherever you are, twist to your right. Twist to your right. Kind of similar to what we did earlier. And you can even do what we did earlier. Left hand reaching on the outside of the right leg that's extended out in front of you, and the right hand behind you on the floor to help you extend spine and twist. So remember this sensation because we're going to try to mimic it somewhere else. Okay, let's unwind, unbind, feel the release. We're going to come to boat pose, so lean back, lift feet. Then cross legs, hands in front, hop or step back plank, finish the sequence chaturanga. Up dog and downward facing. All right, left leg. Inhale, extend the leg into the air, left foot to the top of the mat. Oh, bend and twist. Sorry about that. Let's do a quick bend and twist. Then unwind, step through. Right heel plants into the floor. Then we'll float up. Warrior two. Deeper lunge, perhaps, side angle. Arms reaching, then binding, choosing the bind that works best for you on this side. Notice all these sensations. The binding feeling, and now the releasing feeling as you re-extend the arms, even turning to get out of this deep lunge, planting the hands. Step the left foot back, keep it on the floor, lifting hips into the air, just to return to down dog, a shortcut to down dog. We're going to take a seat, hop forward, cross legs and take a seat. This time we're extending left leg out, bending the right knee. Resit. And then resit again if you can get in closer, heel to hip. Lean over into left hand so you can extend right hand up into the air. Really good stretch through the side body. Hinge forward as if you're going to reach and grab hold of this foot out here. Okay, turn the palm away and then bend the elbow and see if you can wrap it around the shin or just hold on to it with your hand. I'm just shifting so I'm more seated so I can lift this hand and reach behind, hook fingers. As best as I can, I'm sitting up tall, and you get a natural twist to the left side. Deep breaths. Okay, obviously a bind, even if you're just holding on to the shin or knee and the left hand just reaching behind you. Noticing this sensation. Binds sometimes, mostly, are not that comfortable, and so we want to get out of them. So first, just be here and see if you can just be with your breath and be in the pose, and then experience what it is to release. Unhook the fingers, unbinding the arms, starting to face forward. We're going to lean back and lifting both feet into the air, holding onto the legs to get some extension through spine, boat pose. Then crossing legs, hands in front, hop or step back, plank pose, come down, chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing. Nice job. We're going to go back up to standing. So with a good exhale, walk, step, or hop, both feet up to the top. Inhale, extend spine. Then fold. And reverse your swan dive, coming up to standing, reaching into the air. Exhale, arms down by your side. All right, time for more balance, and we're adding a bind. Do your best with this, okay? And you can always modify. Just think about the last 2 times we did some balance work. You can always come back to those variations or try for this one. Again, let's shift weight over into right foot. Press down, nice and tall through the spine. Exhale for core engagement or floating left foot up. Let's catch the shin, lifting high. Even take it out a little bit so you can bring it up higher. You're going to take this free right hand and actually hold down here below the low shin at the ankle area. Okay, and then release the left hand. And this is the hand that's going to manipulate the lift of this leg. Flex this foot. Now extend right arm up into the air. Get some length through the side of the body. You're going to hinge forward a little bit. As you're folding forward, you're going to try to lift this knee higher. Fold, lift knee, because we're going for this bind. This arm, left arm is going to wrap, if you can, wrap it around the shin. Like this, just a hug hold. There it is. So I can then release this right hand, reach behind and clasp fingers. Oh, I got it. So I got the fingers behind me, sitting up nice and tall. Now don't forget those other variations we did earlier. If this is not happening for you at the moment, go back to those earlier versions. They're all binds. Let's get out of the bind. I'm releasing the fingers. I'm just going to take this in reverse. Right hand, just going to catch this leg so I can release this arm. I'm falling out of the pose. Releasing, bringing this arm up into the air. I'm going to catch the knee. I'm just taking it in reverse. Just reopening. Foot to the floor. Both arms up into the air. That's quite a challenge. Arms down by your side, especially going backwards. All right, shake that out, especially the foot you were just standing on. All right, we have one more side to do. Do your best. Even if you're attempting that binding, go for it. Even if you lose the balance or release the bind, that's okay. All right, start shifting weight into left foot. Press into the floor, tall extended spine, core engaged. That's our setup. And then we float to the right foot up. Let's catch the shin with the right hand. Take it out slightly so we can lift a little higher. Left hand's going to come in, grab hold down low by the ankle. Okay, it's going to replace that hand, lifting a little higher. Right hand's going to go up into the air to get some length through the side of the body. As I fold forward, I'm going to try to lift this knee higher so I can get that shoulder-knee relationship. Spin this palm away. Reach around. Whoa. And then releasing this right hand or left hand to reach back. I could barely hook the fingers. I'm not even hooking the fingers. I'm going to try to sit up tall or stand up tall. So my fingers are not connected behind me. They're just kind of reaching for each other. Trying to roll shoulders back, getting as tall as can be. Quite a challenge. It's a bind. Going in reverse. Unhooking the fingers. Left hand reaching up into, actually it's going to reach to grab this ankle so I can release that bound up arm. Going to catch the shin. Just keep switching the hand to the leg there. Reaching up, foot to the floor, both arms up. Keep the arms up. We're just going to fold here. Swan dive. Inhale, monkey pose. Exhale, hands to the floor. Hop or step back. Plank pose. Come on down. Chaturanga. Up dog, and downward facing dog. That's our bind and release practice. Take a few breaths in down dog, and we'll go to the floor. Hop forward, cross legs, take a seat, roll down onto your back. Hug both knees into chest. Let's take a simple bind here. As you hug the knees into chest, or even slightly wider if you can, just so the knees come in a little closer, you're going to try to wrap your arms around the knees so that you can clasp your hands around your wrists or forearms. So we're just kind of hugging the legs in, clasping the hands around the arms. This is another bind. And it's a nice hugging in sensation. It rounds the spine. You can add a little movement to this. You can imagine like a ball that can roll a little bit. Let's just take 2 more breaths. Experience the binding sensation. And then we're going to release, extend the legs out front, reach the arms behind you. Again, that freedom in the body. Let's go back to half happy baby pose. Starting with the right knee, hug it in. You can use both hands to hug the knee in, out back towards the corner. So again, the knee is kind of pointing towards the back right corner of your mat. And then foot to the sky, half happy baby pose. So we can get back into this hip. Maybe it's a little more released after our flow. Very nice. Just notice the change here, what it feels like. 2 more breaths. Release the leg, extend the leg out front, do another stretch, reaching the arms, both arms behind you, lengthening, freeing yourself of the bind. Other side, let's hug left knee in. Take it towards that back corner of your mat. And half happy baby pose. Gently pressing down, knee is coming down towards the floor gently for more release. I'm noticing a little bit more spaciousness just because of all the hip openers we really did in this practice, especially the side angle pose that we bound, because when we bind that posture, it opens the hips a little bit more. So it might be reflected here in this pose. All right, 2 more breaths. Go ahead and release, same thing. We want to re-extend and lengthen and free up the body. Let's take a bridge pose, bend the knees, feet on the floor, arms can come down by your side. Breathe in, fill up your lungs. Exhale, engage belly, lifting hips up into the air. Now you can do bridge. And with bridge, do what we did earlier, maybe getting the shoulders underneath you, perhaps interlacing fingers underneath you, or use the right angle of the arms to help brace yourself. So bridge is an option. Even feel free to move into a full wheel pose or a full back bend where your hands are on the floor up by your shoulders, pressing all the way up away from the ground. You can choose. All right, 3 more breaths. If your fingers are folded, that's another bit of a bind. So let's release the fingers, wiggle the toes forward, reaching arms into the air, freeing up the shoulders and your hips, rolling down. Hug the knees in, and we'll take a twist. Let's take the knees over to the left side, right arm off to the right side. And some deep breaths here. It's also a good time just to tune into breath. Taking deep breaths in and out. And using the breath to create more space in the body. And don't forget, when we do twists, even though this is more of a relaxing style of a twist, there's still some things going on internally. You know, think about our organs. Just getting a little bit of a squeeze. One more breath in and out. And then slowly return to center. Pause in center. You can keep the knees hugging in. You can also re-extend if you want to. And then hug the knees back in and take knees down to the right side for your second twist. Left arm reaching out to the left side.
Deep breaths. Take 2 more breaths. And return to center. Now we can re-extend the legs out front, maybe just your arms. Maybe you can reach behind you if you'd like for one more stretch, and then bring your arms down by your side so you can just settle and relax completely into Shavasana. A few deep breaths, and just kind of think about what we've just done through this practice. All these binds, lots of binding positions, even binds that are just challenging postures, like balancing on one foot for a long time. But then really paying attention to what it feels like to get out of those poses, to extend and reach and stretch. So it almost feels like that we actually find more spaciousness after experiencing binding, challenging situations. So maybe think about that for a moment. In order to feel a sense of freedom, sometimes we need to have the experience of feeling bound up as well. Just breathing deeply in and out, allowing your whole body to relax, even feeling a sense of ease in your mind. And you're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like, even as I end the practice. If you're very comfortable here and would like to stay here, please do so. When you feel it is time to move, rather than moving too quickly, start with just movement of breath. Just take 5 slow, deep breaths, generating energy in the body. Feel how your body naturally responds to the breath, and movement organically arises. Noticing the freedom in your own body. After your 5th breath, you'll want to move in slow motion. Take your time. Maybe you'll start by rolling onto either side of your body. And just holding here on your side in this nurturing pose for a moment. And again, when you're ready to move, continue to move as slowly as can be, rising up to a seated position. Find a comfortable seat, using any props to help support your seat. You might sit with your legs crossed, sitting up nice and tall to extend your spine, and your arms can just relax down by your side, noticing a relaxation in your neck and your shoulders. Full deep breaths in and out. Let's add one more movement here. An inhale to extend arms up into the air. And exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Hold here in stillness. And as we come to the close of this portion of our journey together, we bow saying, Namaste.